How is spring gone so far this year? Well, let's ask Ryan Ghea.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're joined today by Auburn tight end Ryan Ghea. I guess it's y'all's last week of spring with A-Day. I guess we're still calling it A-Day, happening this Saturday. But Ryan, how has spring been for you? The adjustment of, being an early enrollee. I mean, it sounds like all things are going well.
Definitely. Spring has been going well, definitely as for a team, and we've been pushing each other offensively and defensively, just making each other better all around. I feel like for me individually, I've been taking steps forward and just learning from the guys ahead of me. Just the technique portion is a lot different than how it was in high school. So I've just been taking up all the information that I can get from those older guys in our room.
I mean, how different is it? And we've talked about this before, like you played at a very competitive, high-level high school program, but still, like any high school program going to the SEC, like, is the jump about what you thought it would be or more, less? I mean, where are you with that?
I would just say that it's like in college, everybody's like just as good or better than you are. So it's like
Sure.
You got to make your steps exactly where they need to be. Like they need to be fast in the ground. You got to hands, you got to shoot in the right spot, or you're gonna cost and you're gonna set back the play in a way. Not saying that the play will be dead, but it's gonna make it a lot harder for how it's gonna turn out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. The tight end room was an interesting room going into spring. I mean, bringing in freshmen like you and Hollis, but losing guys like Luke Deal and Rivaldo Fairweather. Micah Riley entered the portal, and then, Rico coming back, Brandon Frazier getting an extra year, Preston Howard arriving via the portal from Maryland. It's like, okay, like the guys seem to be there, but just from hearsay, I guess. I mean, it seems like the tight end room has really stepped up. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. I said we 100% have stepped up. We're always there for each other. We're going to help each other on the good, on the bad plays. We're going to be the biggest cheerleaders for each other on the big plays as well. So we're always pushing each other to be better. If we see something, we're going to say something. Just being like the biggest coaches, because the coach isn't going to be able to see every single thing that we do. Each other, we get to all see in the weight room. Oh, we're on the field. We're in Indy. We all get to see each other's reps, so we all can say something about that. But I feel like, yes, our room has taken a big step for spring, and I'm just excited to see how that goes and turns into fall and into the season.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to ask this because I don't want you to feel like you're leaving anybody out, but anybody in the tight end room that you've kind of looked up to or have been impressed by this spring?
Definitely. Obviously, I can't leave any of my guys out. I learned from all
Sure.
of them. Obviously, Brandon's the bigger one, like the biggest one, I would say, just because he's the same type of tight end I am. But then I also get aspects of offensive line and the schemes they're getting from Tate. And then I'm getting the stuff from Rico and Preston on more like the route running and how I need to treat this route if he's playing this type of technique, or how, like, what I need to do, what type of release, what type of, like, how many steps I need to get, if I need to stack, keep my shoulders vertical. So, like, whatever that is, just from those type of guys. And obviously Coach Ben has done a great job instilling in us that we're just going to learn from each other and be the biggest cheerleaders for each other as well.
Yeah, I haven't talked about this a ton on the show, but like Tate Johnson moving from O-line to tight end. I mean, this is a guy who started on the offensive line at the SEC level. I mean, I don't know Tate, but people, when they talk about Tate, they talk about how big his personality is and how great of a guy he is to be around. What has that dynamic been like in the tight end room?
Yeah, he's a great guy. Obviously, he makes me smile whenever, like, he cracks the jokes in meeting. It always like keeps it not as like an intense meeting or whatever.
Yeah, keeps it light. Yeah.
Keep it light. Yeah. And he obviously brings different aspects to the table, and he'll always be able to be in meetings like, oh, this is what the O-line is doing. So it makes it easier for what we're doing. And then he can teach us, oh, if the O-line is doing this, then it's going to make it easier on them if you do this kind of thing, which is different coming from an offensive line room, coming to a tight end room. But he's doing a great job channeling that and just helping us all out.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool insight there. So just talking with you in the past, Ryan, like it seems like you're putting a lot of effort and intentionality in being a versatile tight end, a guy who can block at an elite level and also a guy that you have to respect. in the passing game. Let's start with the blocking conversation. I mean, Auburn's defensive front this year, especially on the edges, it's deep and it has a lot of guys that I think are going to be Sunday players in the coming years. Who are some of the guys you spent the most time blocking against that have maybe helped you grow in that way?
Definitely. There's just a vast majority just from practice to practice of guys that we all go against. So there's obviously guys like Amaris that they're going to give you their best shot every single play. And there's type of guys that are newer like Jared that are going to give you a different type of look than how Kieran or someone like that will give you a look. So it's just going against different people teach you how to go against that type of person, that type of player. If it's, he's going to try to Boris you every time, you're going to know that when he's coming off the edge, he's screaming, you're going to have to drop your hips and just get ready for him to give it all you have. He's going to try to play with finesse. You're just going to have to move your feet kind of thing. But it's just great to block a very big group of great defensive linemen that will give us their best every day and improve all of us.
Well, and I love that you kind of highlighted the differences because, I mean, that's what you want as far as like a group of pass rushers. You want guys who can do different things. You want to put as much stress on an offense, whether it's an individual player or the entire offense as a whole. You want to put as much stress on them as possible. But, I mean, I've heard so much good stuff about Kieran Crawford and what he's done this spring. Say like, okay, J-Mac is gone. Kieran's the guy in the edge room. And I mean, it sounds like he has taken that step forward. Would you say that's fair to say?
I would agree. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as far as catching passes, I mean, there's been a lot of talk obviously about Deuce Knight, but Jackson Arnold, the presumed starter going into spring and assumingly into the season. What's it been like working with both of these quarterbacks?
Definitely just having the trust in your quarterback so that the ball is going to be where it needs to be when it needs to be there. Like if you're running an over and they can project where the defense is going to be and they just throw you open, which is great. I'm not going to say that wasn't how it was in high school because it was, but it's great to see that that's every single pass is going to be just keep our receivers safe, but then we're also going to keep our quarterback safe by shaving their routes, keep taking it negative, take the ball from the defense.
Is the way the ball moves different because of the right-handed and left-handed quarterbacks? Does that impact how you think at all when you're like, okay, so-and-so's throwing me the ball, it's going to look this way versus the other way?
I would say for me, I've always had right-handed quarterbacks, so it was a little bit of adjustment coming in like the winter time.
Yeah.
Balls from Deuce, but now I would say it's not too much. As long as you get your eye on the ball and watch it all the way in, it shouldn't be a problem. But I would say it's definitely a little bit different initially, but they both do a great job.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's talk about other aspects of spring and what we need to do for A-Day and all of that. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. That, of course, is Supply House, whether you're looking for plumbing or HVAC or electrical work. Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. If you need help with an order, you actually can get in touch with a person. A real-life person, imagine that, not an AI robot. And look, when you're ordering this stuff, there's so many different products. You need to make sure it matches and fits and it's exactly what you need. And Supply House can make sure that you're taken care of. And you can join their Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That is at supplyhouse.com. All right, Ryan Ghea, Auburn tight end, our guest today. I guess there's some discussion happened, I guess, when the announcement was a few weeks ago, but with the changes to A-Day in the spring game, and I know this is your first spring at the college level, but do y'all care? Do y'all care like what A-Day looks like from a player point of view as far as this organized scrimmage where fans are cheering, for certain teams and all that versus just like the open practice? Do y'all care?
I would say I don't know too much about the A-Day format as kind of all of us do. We don't really know how it's going to go because this is kind of the first time it's going to be for all of us. But what we're getting is just going to be like an open practice kind of thing. So offense versus defense, I would assume, but I wouldn't say quote me on that. But we're just all excited to get going at it, and being the first time we're going to be in Jordan-Hare this spring, so we're all going to be excited. Just going to be flowing for that A-Day performance.
And that's got to be a cool thing for you, right? First time doing that. First time Auburn fans will get to see you in an Auburn jersey, kind of doing. I mean, I guess you'll be full speed. But that's got to be a cool thing to run out of the tunnel or to warm up in front of all those fans. I mean, it's going to be a big crowd, I think. So, like, that's got to be a cool thing for you to say, like, yeah, like, I'm really doing this.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard great things about, obviously, I've seen it also with how the stadium's been in the past. So, it's going to be my first Tiger Walk, first everything. So, I'm just going to take that moment in and just cherish that. But then when it's time to get to work,
Is Saturday the last practice for y'all, or will y'all meet again early next week to like go over film and stuff?
I would say this is like practice, but I would say that we're going to have meetings next week. we're not 100% sure on that, but we might just be able to go over that next week. But this is our last physical practice.
Gotcha. Is there any pressure? I mean, still being like a young guy trying to prove himself, like, is there any pressure there, you think? Or is this just kind of like, no, I just need to show up and keep doing what I'm doing, show consistency and all of that?
Yeah, definitely. Just keeping it consistent, just day in and day out, just putting good things on tape. Obviously, learning from mistakes that you've made in the past, just continue just to move forward is the biggest thing for me. I wouldn't say there's any pressure per se.
Sure.
Just from learning from those guys that in front of me, just they've done a great job instilling in me the stuff that they've taught me so far. So just keep taking that into Saturday.
Yeah. Ryan, there's been so much excitement and buzz about the wide receivers, the guys that you're lining up next to. I mean, you got to go. The three people that they list the most is Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons, Eric Singleton. But then next day we'll hear something about how Sam Turner had a great scrimmage or Horatio Fields had an incredible catch. What have you seen from these wide receivers this spring?
I would say they've all done a great job. I wouldn't say there's going to be three that are featured. They all do a great job, and obviously me knowing more about Sam because I'm close to him. I see him every day. He's been doing a great job, spring, just stacking days on days and just continuing to compete at a high level. He's a great person to be around, great leader, great person just to always hang around and always try to push to get the best out of you. But I would say just as a receiving room as a whole, they've done a great job this spring, and I'm excited to see how they can continue that going into Saturday.
I mean, it's a tight end that's got to fire you up. I mean, just to have all these guys that demand so much attention on the field next to you, that's got to be like super, super exciting.
For sure. I would say that what we've been learning this most in the spring is that the defense has to choose if they're going to stop our run game or if they're going to stop our pass game. So if they want to load the box, our receivers will go eat. If they want to play back, our running backs, DA, Alvin, Cobb, they're all going to do their thing and just run the ball for us. But I would say that the receiver room is way deeper than just those three. Those are the main three you will hear about. But there is people like Sam, Horatio, Perry, Bryce that are doing a great job behind the scenes that you wouldn't hear too much about, but they're doing a great job.
No, it seems like a loaded room for sure. Yeah, you mentioned the backs just now. I mean, I kind of think we're going to see all three of the guys that you mentioned get reps. Would you think that's fair?
Yeah, that's 100% fair. From what we've seen today, I would say like up till today, they've all been getting reps. So I would say that you'll probably see the same thing this weekend.
They kind of offer three different things too, which I think is good. I think you want as many different types of backs in your room as possible. And I think they're kind of all offered. I think even when Darrell comes back, I think all four of them are different backs, which is a good thing.
100%. And they've been doing a great job through spring, just moving the chains when we need them to, and obviously just carrying the ball and getting us those chunk plays on first, second down to put us in a good spot to continue those drives.
Yep. Well, awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much for your time. As always, best of luck at A-Day at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I'm sure you're going to be absolutely fantastic. For those tuning in, please like the video. Please subscribe. Cheer extra loud for Ryan this Saturday. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.